way.
You very well might. Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen, because I bring you Empire Violet, currently at 1 game in this best-of-3 series. He is in the red trunks, playing Zerg to the east of Metropolis, versus his opponent, TSL Polt, in the blue trunks, playing Terran to the south.
And Metropolis, great map, great map. We've seen some fantastic games throughout the tournament here. And of course on the GSL finals as well. Anybody wants to see an epic game, go to Metropolis. Game number 5, if I remember correctly, an epic final. But let's see how epic this one's going to be. Polt, the Resilient Terran. This is his new nickname from now on.
We call him the Zombie Terran. He just refuses to die. He just keeps coming back from the dead. It scares me.
The Zombie Terran, the Resilient Terran, the Cheeky Terran, as he always has that little grin.
He's got that grin, yeah.
And I'm happy that I've made Rob Simpson smile.
That was your aim today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was on the checklist. That was in pride of place.
He smiles a lot, but not from me. But now I've got on that list, which is great. And I wonder if Violet's going to try any aggression here. Currently 1-0 up. That's something that always plays on an opponent's mind once taking the lead. Yeah. Especially knowing that Polt has great strengths. The later the game goes on, Violet, of course, knows that he's fantastic at, you know, hitting timing, game sense, knowing if he can go or not. And he has scouted the gases inside the main of his opponent and knows that this is a 1-barracks expansion. Hatchery going down as well for Violet. I wonder what the decisions are going to be made from here on out.
Well, I don't think Violet wants to play another 38-minute game against Polt. Not like that. It just seems ridiculous. It cannot be nice to see that happen, and it's like, why will this guy not die? Why won't he roll over and give up? Why can't I kill him? And why is it that I build all these big stumpy units and he still has Marines standing at the end of every engagement? So does Violet go for some kind of 2-base all-in style, or does he try and play once again a big macro game? Well,
the way he's not taking the extractor yet, the way he's saving up minerals, looks like he will be going for the 4-queen build.
Yep.
Once again. I actually don't like the 4-queen build. I saw the light. I watched Nesty play and I said, wow, you are smart by going 3 queens and kind of bringing the macro hatch to half price instead. And wow, look at that. Trying to grab that SCV.
Yep.
But that was funny. But nevertheless, like I said, Nesty's build actually was great to witness. 3 queens, macro hatch instead. And gives you a lot of versatility. Is a little bit more dangerous though, of course.
Indeed. You have to have skills like Nesty. You've got to have moves like Jagger. You've got to have the strength to actually pull that off. Is Violet really confident to do so? Well, 2 queens on the way, so I guess we will see fairly shortly. In the meantime, that's a bunch of angry Marines letting off just a little bit of steam down there.
Yeah, getting rid of that supply depot. An annoyance for everyone. Yeah, nobody likes supply depots.
No, they're terrible things.
And we do see the factory coming down with the reactor, so we are going to see some Hellions grace the field here. 4 queens are on the way as well for Violet. Is Polt going to try Cloak Banshees? They're close by air here. He can use that gas to go straight for double upgrades due to the different options that Polt has available to him. Could even go for early tanks. Those are the kind of 3 key strategies, key paths that Polt needs to choose from here.
That he does. And which one will he go for? A good question. He seems very regimented at the moment. His build seems to be optimized in a very specific way. Factory now moving on for the Hellions. There's the Starport follow-up. He is into gas. Most likely an identical build, but could be significantly more effective because we haven't got that crazy hidden base this time around.
And update live at 5. MC beats Inori to go 2-1 in his game and advances to another stage, knocking out Inori, who did rather well in this tournament, but MC continues his horror run down in the lower bracket.
He's lurking down there. He is lurking. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him at this point. He is destroying, having been knocked down there by Stefano. He is looking for vengeance at some point. He would love to meet him once again. Extended rule or no extended rule.
And he will further on to play against Hearts later on. Tomorrow, I think that will be played on. But we do see this Cloak Banshee being put out now.
Yep. Violet with the fairly early Baneling nest here, actually.
Yeah, well, early Bailey Nest, it's for defensive reasons. I look at it just... I mean, he's moving in with an Overlord now to kind of find out what's going on here. But he's going to see the double gases, of course, but he doesn't know what is behind that.
No. Not at the moment. There comes the interception to prevent that from happening. Must suspect the possibility of Cloak Banshee, certainly. Yeah. The Evolution Chamber has now started immediately into the ground. Carapace upgrade, that being the one that you like, Apollo, because it's so useful. It applies to everything, followed up there by the melee. No Spore Crawlers coming down yet, though, and these Hellions continuing to be a nuisance. Actually, the most effective use of Hellions for creep denial that I've seen yet in this tournament. And
he's going to try and do that 1-2 maneuver we talked about earlier with Hellions and Banshee play. Yep. He's got to be careful, though. There are a couple of Lings here. But damage being dealt to these Queens. The Banshee comes in from behind here. Can Violet defend against this? Great positioning by Polt.
Excellent stuff, yeah. And now if he can soften those Queens up, things will be even more wonderful. He's not able to do so just yet. He's going to get rid of the Lings. There's the Cloak coming in right there. Transfuse, nicely done there by Violet. Keeps it alive just a little bit longer. But those Queens are on borrowed time, as you can see. One falls down after transfusing its sister in a last-ditch attempt.
And Spore Crawl's going to get taken out before it can finish. Another one being made here. Pressure mounting upon Violet. Hellion still around. A second Banshee incoming here. And Violet's trying to crawl a Spore Crawler down here, or bring it down to the third base. Banshee is trying to ward it off. But with the Hellions and a second Banshee, can he get an angle to go in?
He's got to be careful about it, actually. Polt is in a nasty position to lose that Banshee. Surround comes in on the Hellions. Nicely done there by Violet. The question is, can those Banshees continue to do any damage?
Well, the Queen did pick up the Banshee on the third base there, unfortunately. Another Banshee's going to go in, and that's to turn tail immediately. But behind this, we do see the infrastructure of Polt kicking off now. He has a lot of barracks added on. He has those double engineering bays, and is really looking towards that strength of the mid to late stages of his play. Banshee still on the third base, has to be so careful.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he's taken that much damage. I'm surprised he lost the first one, in fact. It should have been fairly obvious to him that that wasn't going to go anywhere. And he could have actually gone to the natural. Unfortunately, now there are now Spore Crawlers coming up there. So perhaps a little bit of a missed opportunity there by Polt, but nonetheless, he has been able to put the pressure on, and that's given him the opportunity to get those bases sorted out and look to try and get that third. In fact, he's just gonna throw down yet more command centers. Another one to follow that one up.
Yeah, a variant here that we're actually seeing from Polt. Probably the biggest change he's made so far in his Terran vs. Zerg career here is he actually got a second factory a lot earlier.
Yeah, he did.
You know, he goes 1 and then grabs 3 in total later on, but a second factory earlier means that, yes, he will be taking the defensive foot here, but more importantly, can start to build the tanks up now, could push, but from what it looks like here, he's like, hey, I'm good late. You want to play it late at night here?
I'm cool with that.
I'm good with that. And now the Arm Reach finisher can work on 2-2 upgrades, and he's going to be unbreakable, untouchable here by any form of aggression Violet could pull in.
It's going to be pretty damn difficult to do anything, isn't it? So trying to tire Violet out and win in a good position here. And this time around, we have Polt with the economic advantage and the lack of harassment coming in from Violet. But he's not going to sit around on that. He gets his Baneling speed nice and early, an upgrade that a lot of people have forgotten in this tournament. That will give him run-by opportunities, and since Polt is spread so thinly, there is the possibility of tremendous economic damage, and as we say that, 4 little Banelings on their way.
To borrow up here, and that's going to be sneaky tactics coming out from Violet. Whether it'll work or not, we'll see, because like we just said, an established Polt seems to be on the back foot here, not really looking to do anything. The Hive has begun walling off his third base as well. Tanks been spread across from natural to third to make it an unlockable, untouchable place to be in. Polt just basically saying to us that, you know, I'm just so confident here later on. And as long as my opponent doesn't break me down, I'm good, and eats quite a few tank volleys.
Yeah, he's not getting there anytime soon, unfortunately. But what we should also say is that Violet is taking himself a 4th base, and he's going up to Hive here because the aggression has ceased, and the creep spread on the right flank is ridiculous. It's almost at the main. Yeah,
it's not too bad there by Violet. Very interested to see this Ultralist play come in once again. He's getting Ventral Sacks again, along with the Overlord speed upgrade. Yeah. So he may use this, of course, to drop over the supply depots to try and do an aggressive play here. Could also see some Overlord drops unloading into the main. We don't know. It would be a very expensive maneuver here. But he can see that his opponent is just tied down so impressively here with a 5th command center on the way. A 3rd factory finally been added on to, you know, increase the count even harder. And, well, one thing's for sure, even if he doesn't try anything dramatic with these Overlords, he can easily just unload a handful of cracklings inside the main base, and that's rather frustrating to deal with for Polt if, of course, his infrastructure gets knocked down nice and early.
Drop on the way here for Polt to start with that harassment once again. It's a good idea. He's been letting Violet get away with an awful lot up to this point, and that's given Violet the opportunity to tech. His upgrades are once again superb. Already working on 3-3. Adrenal Glands upgrade as 3-3 starts here for Polt. Can the drop do any damage, more to the point?
Let's find out. He's going to be able to get a cancel or even kill if that completes here. Lucky timing for Polt on there. And he runs in at the north location now, but is moving across with his army at the same time here. Cleans up a few lings. Base is under attack and is easily going to get picked off there. Nice win for Polt.
Yes, indeed. Meantime, what have we got here? Those 2 Burrowed Banelings still hanging around. They actually have an opportunity here. They could even have an opportunity here.
Oh,
Violet draws this in. Oh, nice scan. There we go. That's the pickup. It doesn't surprise me that Polt really doesn't fall for that, considering that's something Symbol likes to do as much as possible in this matchup. So I would imagine Polt's a little bit used to that. Big Ling run by round the back. Looking to try and get in there. Can't do so just yet. Tanks deployed to prevent that from happening. And Polt is now marching up the center with not an awful lot ready to stop him. Infestor's standing in the way. Quite a few Banelings, but the Ultra count is not there yet.
Infestor's the best unit to buy time in any matchup here. And now he's going to go in as he sees the tanks on siege, but he is going to take a lot of damage here. Comes in from behind, but where's the rest of his army?
He doesn't have it. It's as simple as that. Polt cleans that up without too much of a problem, honestly.
And a drop on that base, as we can see on the dual screen there. If he takes down that hatchery, that could be huge.
Ling's coming in to pick that up, and it looks like Polt will be forced back, or he could die horribly in acid. That works too. And Polt now pushing down the center again, getting a fantastic siege position, bottling those Ultralisks in.
Yeah, with these Ultralisks, they're about to be fully upgraded. Violet needs to stay patient, needs to stay calm. The upgrades are about to click in, and then he can have a superior advantage here.
He can indeed.
Unless...
Nice pre-spread right here. Here come the Infestors, raining down some Infested turns to distract or indeed kill those tanks in the process, and the Ultralisks will fight from that position there, but Polt has some nicely staggered units, and even without the Marauders, is inflicting heavy damage on these Ultras.
And that's a great maneuver there. Picking up the Evolution Chamber, +3 cancelled, and now Polt just smashing through the weakened Ultralisk naturally, and is in a great advantageous position.
Without +3/+3, which is about to complete. And once Polt gets that, he's going to be in a dominant position to take this game. Violet bleeding hard, Burrowed Banelings here. He could get, that would be the time to maybe, now, there we go. A nice detonation, not as nice as you would have liked, of course, but this is hardly the time to be squabbling over that kind of thing. And Polt continues with a huge convoy of units across the map. There is the GG. Polt equalizes 1 apiece.
He does indeed, and that was pretty straightforward there from Polt. Nice push. Violet, though. What are your thoughts on that, Wolf and Rob?
Well, I feel like last game Polt was like playing with 1 hand, and this game he was playing with 2 hands. So, I mean, he crushed. Like, jokes aside, seriously, Polt actually looks so dominant in this game. He was consistently up in supply, and he had worse upgrades than his opponent, like you guys pointed out, but he still was able to win the engagements really, really well. Oftentimes, Violet used his Ultralisk in a choke point where Polt had like the better position. He tore through him. I feel like Violet's defense against the Banshees was decent, but it just like...
Yeah, the Banshees actually didn't do very much at all.
Yeah, he like almost killed a Spore Crawler with it, and that's about it. He didn't really kill any drones, but Polt, like, he's mastered this matchup. He's like a magician. No matter what his opponent does, especially if he goes Ultralisk and or Banelings, Polt just does not seem to care.
No, he doesn't.
Well, I mean, what matchup haven't you mastered when you're that good with Marines?
Yeah. That's exactly true. I mean, what do you think about the use of Ultralisks? here from Violet? Do you think that maybe he should look at using the Greatest Spire here, bringing in the Broodlords rather than Ultralisk? Or what do you think that Violet needs to do here going into this last game? This is, of course, his winner bracket run coming to an end if he falls down.
You want my honest opinion? If I'm Violet or if I'm Violet's coach right now, I tell him to do a 2-base Roach Baneling all-in because the late game is not winnable against Polt.
Really?
I'm serious. I'm absolutely
serious.
serious.
If you were his coach, man,
I would tell him that.
You don't have much confidence in your player.
Well,
would you
against
Polt?
Not against Polt, man. I'd
like,
be like,
okay, so what,
I'd be like, listen, man, you got
tell?
no chance.
You know?
No, dude, I actually completely agree. I actually completely agree because that's what I thought he should have done on Metropolis anyway. Like that's what I thought he would have done anyway.
Well, Violet was known for aggression early on and just doesn't do it anymore. And against any other player, fine. You've demonstrated in this tournament you can hack it with the best of them, except Polt. Let's just not do that. That's a terrible idea. He won't die.
The awkward thing here, Coach Wolf, is that nobody told you that the last map was in Toon Valley. Now what you do on this map?
Well, Entomb Valley is a much better map for Broodlords than some of our other maps, I would say. But I don't know. I liked that in the game that he did, in fact, win. He skimped on the Banelings a lot. He really was going mostly Infesterling, and that's something that Polt has struggled with a little bit more. His fungals were decent, but I feel like you have to like find a weakness in Polt, not in his army, but in harassing him. He keeps getting Overlord drops, but he doesn't use them. What is that for? Is that like the missing link that we're seeing here? He's getting Overlord drops and Overlord speed every game, but he just does not utilize it. What is that going to be for? I don't know. He's got to harass Polt's economy or avoid his army in some way, force Polt to be turning around, force Polt to be on the defensive somehow. I don't know.
Well, it's something that could solve the problem that you both mentioned, which is those Ultralisks end up getting into narrow choke points where they're easily eliminated. The drop